Good morning, everyone. This is Amit Pabari, founder and managing director of CR Forex. I wish all mothers a very happy Mother's Day. From my personal experience, I must say, whatever I am today, it is because of my mother's good upbringing and hard work. In today's presentation, we are going to discuss three things. The first thing is, a lot of exporters and importers were wondering that despite poor economic data and highest number of cases in India, still rupee is appreciating every day. From 74, it came down to 73.20 in the NDF market. Second, what is the outlook of USD INR pair in coming days? Third, how I am going to hedge my open exposure. So let me start with the first point. Why did USD INR pair appreciated last week? It happened because of expectation versus reality gap. Let me share a story with you. In my childhood days, there was a friend who was sad after the exam result. I went and I asked him, "Why are you sad?" He said, "I was expecting 100 in mathematics and I have got 90 in mathematics." 90 was not a poor number, but his expectation was little higher, because of which he was sad. Similar thing happened in market also. Dollar index had fallen last week from 91.5 level to 90.30 level. Why? Because market was expecting a data much higher than the previous time. For example, manufacturing PMI, they were expecting it to be 65. It came at 60.5. Service PMI, they were expecting 64.2. It came 62.7. But if you compare last 3 years data, they are higher than last 3 years data. So the data is good, but problem happened in expectation. Third data was unemployment level. Unemployment level, market was expecting 5.8, but data came at 6.3%. Last year, जब पैंडेमिक हुआ था तब द अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट लेवल वॉज 14%. It has come down to 6.30 level. Data are good, but because of expectation, market have reacted negatively. So आने वाले दिनों पे we are expecting, as the fundamentals are strong, dollar index should bounce back towards 91.5 level. If dollar index bounce back, then rupee will also bounce back. Second reason for appreciation was inflow came in Power Grid IPO. Now let me go to the third part of the presentation, which is outlook for coming week. We are expecting a bounce back in USD INR pair in coming weeks. There are few reasons for the same. The first reason is FII are continuously selling in Indian equity market and debt market. अगर आप चार्ट देखेंगे तो पहले ही दिन पे अप्रैल के फर्स्ट डे पे दे हैव सोल्ड 300 million. And from April till May 8, they have sold cumulatively 2.4 million. So that's a huge number. And we are expecting that they will continue to sell in coming days. Why? Because they will take money from all emerging markets to developed market. अभी वो developed market पे क्यों जाएंगे? Because developed markets का data are good because of good vaccination drive. The second reason why we are expecting the dollar rupee to bounce back is in India, cases of COVID are increasing, and because of that, most of the states are either in full lockdown or in partial lockdown condition. So to conclude, we are expecting a bounce back in dollar rupee pair, and the pair can move towards 74 to 74.5 level in coming days. So let us start with the third part of the video, which is hedging strategy. For importers, we will request them not to get complacent, and any dips should be taken as an opportunity to buy dollars. They can cover for next 30 to 45 days between 73.10 to 73.40 levels. They can hedge via buying simple forward, or if they think that the currency will appreciate towards 72 levels and they do not want to hedge, so we will request them to hedge via option, they can buy at the money call option, which will protect them from any upside momentum and downside participation भी मिलेगा. For thick margin exporters, we generally cover between 40 to 60% of their exposure. So for few days, we have been advising them to cover only 50% in the mix of short term and long term forward. To those exporters, if any remittances are coming next week, we will request them to pre-utilize all the long term forward which they have booked between 74.80 to 75.20 levels. And for new booking, they should wait for a bounce back. For thin margin exporters, generally for thin margin exporters, we cover back to back and we cover 80 to 100% of their exposure. For the open exposure, we have advised them last week to keep a stop loss of 73.80, but market opened below 73.80 on Friday, so we could not cover them. For them whose exposures are open, we request them to hedge via 3 मेथड. पहला ऑप्शन है जिनका छोटा एक्सपोजर है, वो कवर नहीं करे, अपने रिस्पेक्टिव एडवाइजर से बात करें, तभी कवर करें जब एक बाउंस बैक आए 73.80 या 74 लेवल्स का. दूसरा ऑप्शन है दे कैन बाय एट द मनी पुट ऑप्शन. इफ दे बाय एट द मनी पुट ऑप्शन, द डाउनसाइड रिस्क विल बी कवर्ड. थर्ड ऑप्शन है दे कैन कवर 50% of their open exposure by booking long-term forward. So if the rupee appreciates, then they can pre-utilize the forward. This was an overall strategy, but I will request all my clients to speak with their respective advisors so they can guide you according to your exposures. With this, I end my today's presentation. जय हिंद, नमस्कार, फिर मिलेंगे next week.